Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. I hope you're having a good Saturday. Let's get into it. But please, before we do that, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that other people can find it. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into Ready to Love, honey. So the episode started with the elimination, and it was between Brandon and Habibi. Now, let me tell you, before they even eliminated Brandon, I knew it was going to be Brandon that would be eliminated, because knowing Ready to Love, they like to keep the clowns. They like to keep the people that would bring the entertainment in that season, even though they're toxic. So, of course, they did not eliminate Habibi. They eliminated Brandon, okay? So, Uncle Tommy was basically saying to everyone that, they're going to be having a Ready to Love brunch, and everyone was like super excited. I was like, okay, get into it. And so then it was at the brunch, honey, and everyone was like getting to know each other and whatnot. Quentin and Janelle were having a conversation. One thing I've noticed is it seems like Janelle really loves touching. And so every time she's talking to anybody, she leans in with the touch. She's very handsy. And I'm like, the guys are loving it. Did you see her lean into Quentin and touch him? I'm like, girl, you know how to touch, you know how to smile. Like, she was really getting into it. Anyways, Tommy told everyone that the guys would be going home and the ladies would have to determine who would be going home. So, of course, the guys are getting nervous, trying to, like, be on their best behavior, but not for one person, honey. Habibi was and still is a clown, in my opinion. Now, let's keep going, okay? So, Unique and Marvin were having a conversation. Like, if you don't know who Marvin is, remember the guy I was talking about last week? Erotic writer. He's into dominatrix and all that crazy ass stuff. Yes. So his name is Marvin, honey. He was having conversations with Unique. Unique was there smiling and she was so giddy. I'm like, you really like this man. Like, let's get into it. Like, why? I don't really get the appeal. But anyways, the other thing I don't like about Marvin is this. It seems like all of the conversations he's having with all of these women relate to sex. I'm like, okay, you're an erotic writer who's into dominatrix. Okay, can we talk about other things? Like, is that your whole identity? Like, what else do you enjoy doing? It can't be all about sex, honey. Like, what else do you like to do? Do you like to take walks? Do you like to travel? Like, something else. Like, let us get to know you. Like, it's not all about the dominatrix and all the freaky stuff. Anyways, it doesn't matter for Unique because she looks like she was happy. She was excited. She was giddy. She was very much giving the nice, feminine, submissive energy. Marvin then basically said to her, like, he likes a woman that has submissive energy. It's very attractive to him. The thing about that is I'm always very wary when someone says that, because in my experience, when someone says that, it's usually because they are a little bit controlling, honey. Like, so I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but every time someone has really said, oh, they love a submissive woman, they love this, and outrightly say that, it usually comes off as they're either a controlling person, or maybe, I don't know, but there tends to be a pattern in my experience anyway of people that say that being controlling people. Like, let's say for instance, it just happens that the person is submissive and you like them or whatnot, that's different. But like some people actually seek out people that they feel are submissive and have that sort of submissive energy. And I've noticed in my experience, it's usually people who like to control people who like to be like, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. I'm going to tell you where you need to be, all that kind of controlling-ish. And I ain't here for it. But if she likes it, that's her business. So over on the other side, Habibi and Tequila. I know you guys know I call her Tequila on this channel, honey, because she is spicy as hell. Anyways, Habibi and Tequila and Red were sitting together. Habibi and Tequila were basically talking, and she was like, oh, that's her partner in crime. And that's who, and Habibi was like, oh, she's the one he's feeling the most. I'm like, of course, because she is your captain. She is your captain, save your soul, honey. She's given, what was the name of the girl who was always defending, the lawyer who was always defending Blake? Susu. Yes, it is given Susu vibes. I'm a stand by him. whatever the cost, that's what it's given. Do you know what? There were so many side conversations in this episode. It was actually super hard to follow. But anyways, Habibi and Sierra had like a little sit down and they were talking, and he started to ask her when was her last relationship and how did it end and what did she do to F it up. I'm like, girl, I'm not being funny, but if anyone sat in front of me and said that, let's just say that would be the last date. Like, I'm not going to give the person another chance. I'm not going to be allowing this person to be in my presence. For what? For what? Seriously. But let's just say she's nicer than me. She took it well. She was just there like, ha ha ha. I'm like, okay, girl. I would have been like, boy, shut up. And I would have left. But okay. If she likes it, I love it. Anyways, Red decided to square up with Unique. Now, if you don't remember Unique is the one who was having a conversation with Red last episode and basically called his job a thought job. So, of course, Red was in his feelings about it and was talking about the fact that, this thought job has earned him 6 figures. I'm like, okay, sir. All right. Okay. So he decided to square up and have a conversation with her. He was like, I don't think we had our last conversation. I don't think it ended on good terms. So, of course, she's like, well, I don't even think we started on good terms. I'm like, okay. This is already taking a weird turn. And then she basically eventually apologized, right? But you could tell he did not accept it. And in his confessionals, he was basically saying that if someone goes low, he's going straight to hell. Now, he didn't use those words, but he might as well have said it. He was basically giving us, he is the king of Pettysville, honey. He is petty as they come. Tit for tat, that's what he was given. Now, take it from someone who has petty tendencies. And yeah, I definitely have very tit for tat tendencies. However, I've worked so hard and still working so hard to choose the high road each time. Sometimes it's a struggle, but I generally try and mostly choose the high road. But with him, he's like, nah. He's like, if you do 10, I'm gonna do 15. I'm like, okay, sir. Like, he was not playing on that one. I'm like, all right, sir. So then moving on, Tequila decides to have like a group date with a couple of people. Of course, we know production probably set it up. So she had a BB, she had Red, Phil, Janelle, and Briar. Kira, sorry. And so they were all together. It was a bit of a weird dynamic. It was like bad vibes from the beginning, in my opinion. As soon as Janelle walked in, they were like, oh, so who are you feeling? I'm like, girl, let the girl sit. And also, why are you asking who she's feeling? Let's all just enjoy ourselves and be on a date and vibe. Why'd you gotta be doing the questions, especially when there's going to be a ladies' lounge? Like, what was the reason for that? So, of course, Janelle said who she was feeling. And I was like, okay. And so I just thought like they could have scrapped that bit, but whatever. So Habibi and Tequila decided to like start playing darts. So they had like their own little section and they were playing darts. And so they started having conversations about their past relationships. So Tequila was trying to get to know Habibi a little bit more. And then he basically said to her like, yeah, he was cheating in every city that he was, and he would just find a girl wherever he goes to play saxophone, basically. And I'm just like, girl, this man has told you who he is. What else do you want to know? Like, I don't know why everyone is acting like this is acceptable. Do you know what I appreciate? I appreciate Lee. From the first time Lee had a conversation with Habibi, she was like, this ain't gonna be it. First time she had a conversation with Brandon, she was like, this ain't gonna be it. And I appreciate that level of respect for yourself and that level of quickness to cut people off when you're dating. I just think it's necessary. If not, you just continue to tolerate nonsense and put up with people and give people opportunities. People that don't deserve the opportunities, you continue to give them opportunities, in my opinion. So back to Habibi and Tequila, honey. So she was then like, why did he cheat? And then he was like, oh, he cheated because his girlfriend doesn't suck dick. I'm like, what? Who says that? Who does that? Why couldn't you just break up with this girl and say to her, this is something I need. You can't do this. I'm not going to be in a relationship with you. Simple. You going to go and be using that as an excuse for going around the world to go and be hooking up with other people when you could have left that girl alone instead of wasting her time. But anyways, over on the other side, Kira and Red were having their own little date, throwing footballs at bowling things. I'm like, I don't even know what they're called. Those bowling, whatever they're called. I was just like, using football to like bowl. That's interesting. That's a first. Never seen that before, but it looks like they were really getting into it. So they were getting a little flirty. And what I hated was the fact that Janelle then kept being like, oh, she was giving like the jealous wife. And I'm like, honey, how long have you known this man? Why are you acting jealous? You're dating other people. Why are you acting like you own Red? I don't understand it. You've known that guy for like probably all of 5 minutes. Like, what the hell is going on with you, sis? She definitely said she had abandonment issues, and I think that's what is showing up today, because I was not here for it at all. Like, let me know what you guys thought about that in the comment section below. Let's keep going, honey. So Janelle kept like saying like little 2 cents. Instead of her to be focusing on her date, she was out here focusing on Kira and Red. And I was like, okay. All right. So after Kira and Red and the rest of the group left, it was Janelle and Red. They stayed after to have some dinner. And I was like, okay, cool. So it seemed that they were connecting. I think Red and Janelle kind of get along. I feel like this is probably the first time I see Red seemingly as comfortable as he would normally, as comfortable as possible. Or since the show started. So I was like, okay, there must be, I don't think they're going to be a couple, in my opinion, but I think that at least there is a little bit of conversation. I won't say chemistry, I'll say conversation, honey. Okay. So then I was like, okay. So when they got up to leave, this is where I was like, Janelle, you have some issues. She was like, let the record reflect that I have a real bag and that Kira has a fake bag. I'm like, girl, that was unnecessary. That was totally uncalled for. And I'm not being funny, but Janelle is giving me mean girl at this moment. Like, I don't know if things are going to be better throughout the season, but she's giving me mean girl vibes and I don't like it. One thing I cannot stand is a mean girl, and I do not like it. Anyways, moving on. Aries put together a date for Christian, Jessica, Phil, Sierra, and Herbert. And so I was like, and her, of course. And so she invited them over to her house. I was like, okay, her house looks pretty. Okay. I wonder if it's her real house or if it's just an Airbnb for production, for filming. Who knows? Anyways. That's just by the way, okay? So Sierra started talking to Herbert and she was like asking him, do you believe in sex before marriage? I'm like, okay. And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay. I like someone who's direct. And so he asked her as well. She was like, yes. But at the moment she is abstaining and the door has been locked for nearly a year. So I'm like, he's like, ooh, okay. So I think Sarah is just basically saying like, if sex is what you want, you ain't gonna get it here, at least for now. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens with that. So then over on this other side, Kristen and Jessica were getting along, okay? So they started having conversations. Sorry, it's getting a bit windy here. So Jessica and Kristen were having a conversation. Jessica mentioned that she overheard him talking about arranged marriages and she just wanted to get more of his insight about that. So Kristen started talking about the fact that, you know, in his family, that's something that's prevalent in the culture, in the Nigerian culture. I'm like, well, no, but okay. As someone who's Nigerian, not really. But it depends on where you're from, and from where he's from, it's not as prevalent as he's making it seem. But maybe it's a thing they do in their family. But whatever, I'm not going to criticize the man for saying what he views as his culture, okay? Anyways, so he starts talking about the fact that they tried to arrange for him to get married to someone, but he pushed back and said that that's not something that he wanted to do. He wanted to choose his own wife. And I actually like that they were having like a really good conversation, and it was more in depth than the other conversations everyone was having. It seemed like a lot of people on the show just care about like sex. And so a lot of the conversations are very sex heavy. And so I think I appreciated the fact that at least they were having some conversation which had some substance in it. Okay. So let's talk about Aries. Aries and Quentin. Aries is so gorgeous. Like, do you guys see it, or is it just me? She is such a beautiful woman. Like, in my opinion, she is gorgeous. Anyways, Aries and Quentin were catching up and talking. It seemed like they had a really good vibe. And so Quentin basically brought up like whether or not she would have an issue with the fact that there's a 10-year difference between them. And Aries was like, it's cool, as long as you don't act like immature and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Girl, I don't know. I'm generally, I generally don't date men that are younger than me. And there was a time where there was this guy, I think he was about 5 years younger than me, and he was trying to like talk to me and whatnot. And he turned out to be so immature, and I just couldn't do it. I ended up I just couldn't do it, sis. But yeah, I don't know, girl. At the moment, Quentin does seem super mature, so I am hoping that he is super mature and it's not an issue. But yeah, it definitely wouldn't be a preference for me to date older, okay? So there was that. So anyways, it seemed like it was a good vibe. The whole group, I enjoyed all of their conversations. I enjoyed all of their dates. I feel like that was a really well assembled cast, to be honest, on that. And so Albert basically decided to walk Sierra to her car, which I was like, okay, girl, that is sweet. And then Quentin helped Aries clean up, and I was like, that's very sweet of him. Quentin honestly seems like a really calm, sweet man, but I guess time will tell, because all these guys becoming ready to love, and then at the reunion, everyone gets exposed, honey. So I'm going to hold my opinions about the man until I see what happens at the reunion. Now let's talk about Habibi. You lot know from the last episode that I did that Habibi stresses me out. Habibi is exhausting, but he is the drama. So let's talk about him, honey. So he went on a date with Sierra, right? So he's like, oh, her nails look nice. And he's like, oh, he doesn't like when women come on dates without doing their nails. I'm like, dude, do you pay for their nails? Why do you think that is something that you like? A lot of these people are so opinionated, and it's not in a way that is like great. It's in a way where your opinions do not matter, honey. Like, shut up, please. So anyways, they start talking about her being from Louisiana, and like they started talking about crawfish, and Sarah basically said she learned how to like do that at like 4 years old. And Habibi then brought up the fact that her mom ain't shit. I'm like, oh girl, first of all, I don't swear, and I literally had to say that because what? Who says that? I said, oh, he's joking. I'm like, dude, there is no way on earth you can clean that up. And let's just say Sierra took it well, because I would not tolerate anybody saying my mother is not ish. It ain't gonna work. Right there and there, I will call you all the way out, honey. It ain't gonna work. My mother? Now, you were hella disrespectful and you were rude. No. I'm pissed off for her and her mom. Like, I'm just imagining if I was her mom and watching that, I would be like, Sarah, you couldn't even speak up? Girl, no. I would have been pissed off if I was the mom. But that's just me. That's just me. But let me know what you guys would do if you guys were the mom and you were watching this back, honey. I'm just curious. And let me know what you would do if you were in Sierra's position. Because I'm just curious, honey. Like, am I the only one who would be like, hell nah. Don't you ever speak about my mom like that again. Ever. I don't care if it's a joke or you're serious. Ever in your life. Anyways, let's move on to Lee and Quentin. Lee and Quentin are very cute together. I feel like they match each other's energy. They're both very fit. Girl, they look like they would lift. One of them would use one hand to lift me up. Like, they look fit. Okay? They look like if anything goes down, they both will be swinging. Like they look that fit, honey. So Lee was basically asking, if Quentin would be cool with the social pictures that she posted on Instagram. Quentin was like, oh, it's cool as long as, I know that she's coming back home to me. I'm like, okay. A lot of people say that, but then they then try to change. Like, I've had that sort of situation before. It was not an issue before. And bear in mind, I'm not one of those Instagram models or anything. So I'm not out here throwing that ass in a circle and like posting that. But, I wear like tie hugging dresses every once in a while. Sometimes the body's showing, sometimes, but I'm still generally modest, right? So I was quite shocked that there was this dude that was trying to talk to me, and he was all of a sudden then started to be like, oh, I don't like you wearing this. I'm like, dude, back up. Yeah, it ain't gonna work between you and I. So sometimes some guys, they see you that way, but then they want you to change. And I absolutely hate when people do that. You met me a certain way. If you don't like me, don't talk to me, friend. If you don't like me like the way I am, don't leave me alone. Leave me for someone who likes me for me. Don't pick me and then try to change things about me. But anyways, let's move on to the ladies' lounge, okay? I feel like we've talked enough about these people. So Lee, can I just say my girl Lee looked so good in that dress. She was killing it. I'm like, girl, I need the dress and the body that comes with it. Well, just the abs. Like, I got the booty already. But give me those abs. Give me those abs, sis. Like, give me the abs that come with that dress. Like, she looks good. Anyways, let's move on. So the girls start talking about who they're feeling. A lot of people are mentioning Herbert and Quentin. So like they were just like going on about all these people. Then of course they came over to Tequila, asking who Tequila was feeling. Tequila goes on a rant about Habibi. Oh, he travels and he's good with the kids. Girl, have you seen him with the kids? Have you seen him with the kids? Oh, yeah, he used to be in the military. Honey, have you verified anything that you are saying? Or are you taking everything that this man is saying to you? So Janelle was not feeling it, honey. Janelle was like, Habibi is an authentic clown and this is not the daycare. I'm like, ooh, girl, when I tell you I screamed, I'm like, girl, do you know what? Janelle could be a mean girl. Right? We don't know that for certain, but she moved like a mean girl this episode. But she is funny. I gotta give her that. She has good energy most times, honey. So I really enjoyed that, honey. I really did. So this is where it took a completely different turn, honey. So Kira starts talking about how he thinks Quentin likes white women. I'm like, okay, where is that coming from? Now, of course, I don't see what they see because we only see a few clips here and there merged together by own for us to watch. So I can't speak on it, right? But I was just like, that's very weird, okay? Like, where is that coming from? So then Tequila jumps in and she's like, yeah, when we're talking at the mixer, he basically said that none of the girls were at his type, blah, blah, blah. And then so they rolled back the tape and what he said was that he's not feeling anyone as yet. That's what he said. He did not say that he did not like anyone. He just said he wasn't feeling anyone as yet. Or that he didn't say that they weren't his type. Honey, where did you get that from? Now, of course, we know production likes to edit stuff. So I cannot speak on what production has edited and chose not to air. But from what we are seeing, there is nothing to show that Quentin likes white women. Now, it could be that he likes white women. We don't know that for certain, right? We've not seen it. We've not seen any concrete fact. We've not seen any proof that he likes white women. So for now, I'm not believing none of that. So Janelle and Lee were like, nah, they don't believe that. Janelle was like, it's all her safe for now. I'm like, yes, girl, stick by your mans. And Lee was like, I'm the most chocolate one here and we connect fine, honey. I was like, yes, girl, you better say it. You better speak on it. So then they went back to talking about Habibi. So Janelle starts saying that Habibi said something disrespectful to her and was basically saying he was going to suck on her breast next time. I was like, oh, no, he didn't. Tommy was not having it. He was like, that is disrespectful. And if anyone says stuff like that, I just knew immediately that he was going home. Tommy was not going to condone the BS. He was like, I am done with BS. He's like, I don't want a repeat experience of one of the previous. I don't. He's like, he ain't going to be Stevie Wonder to the B. He is like, no, I need to address this. The man cannot be disrespectful. That is not right. I appreciated the way Tommy handled it. So during this time now, Tequila was making faces over there. I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So she starts going off on Janelle, basically saying, well, to be fair, Janelle did start it by saying, that's your pick. And then Tequila was basically saying, your picks aren't better either. And then Janelle was like, girl, at least none of them did that or said that to you. I'm like, oopsie. And then he went and left from there. Tequila got up. Tequila was here like, I am here for all the shenanigans, okay? And so then it was like, oops, what is going on? So Miss Janelle got up like, girl, you want to fight? Let's do it. Like, that was the vibe Janelle was on, honey. I was like, okay. So then they are taking Tequila out of the room. And so Jessica was over there looking pretty as always, just looked over and Tequila was like, wow, you can get it too. I'm like, girl, is something okay? Like, is everything okay with you, sis? Like, are you all right? Like, it's given I'm unhinged. It's given you're off your medications, honey. Like, what is going on? Once they're taking Tequila out, explain to me why this girl starts saying, if they eliminate Habibi, eliminate me too. I'm like, yeah, go with him. I never want to see you again on the show, off the show. Go with him, please. What I hope is that she will watch this and realize, like, sis, you're a pick-me. You're a pick-me who needs to grow. You're acting unhinged over a man who is nothing but disrespectful, who is a clown, who is not ready to love. Like, girl, you look like a whole fool. Out here supporting this man, honey. So anyways, there was the elimination date. So Red and Habibi were in the bottom. Sierra went over there with her long ass wig to talk to Habibi, okay? So she basically said, you're not ready to love, and that was that. And Red over on the other side, Kira told him, people are saying you're boring, like, kick it up a notch, all of that. He took the feedback. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see what Red does next week. But that was pretty much it for the episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Your girl is trying to get monetized here on this YouTube streets, so please support. I really appreciate you. And if you're one of my returning subscribers, I love you. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Have a good day, guys. Bye.